It is great chatting with my next guest, Cortney Casey, who's back in action against Antonina Shevchenko, UFC Fight Night, April 30th. Courtney, how's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. It looked like you got plenty of notice for this fight. I feel like I heard about this like maybe a month or two ago. When did you find out? Because it seemed like they booked it pretty far in advance.
Yeah, I would say about maybe 2 months ago.
Okay, that makes sense.
Plenty of time. Plenty of time. When you fight someone with a name and who her sister is, I feel like you get a little bit more time than normal.
Yes, yeah, it appears that way for sure. Were you surprised to get her as an opponent? Just because some people felt like maybe she wasn't going to be with the UFC. I don't know. Like, what was your reaction to getting it? Probably pretty excited with the last name.
Yeah, I was excited. I really didn't know she was on such a 2-fight losing streak. So yeah, I wasn't shocked. I was unaware of her situation.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Was this the right amount of time off in between fights? Or were you trying to get in there a little bit sooner? Because obviously Jakar has his fight coming up as well.
Yeah. It was the right amount of time for me to be off. It was just kind of different timing because it's really like the first time we're both in camp this close together. Like, we've had overlapping camps, but then his fight didn't happen. So, but I still had plenty of time.
Yeah.
Right now, it's like we literally have his fight, then a week, and then my fight. So it's a lot closer than what we're used to.
And coming off a nice win in that last fight over Jojua, how happy were you with that performance? I know you would have wanted the finish, but that was still a pretty dominant win.
Yeah, I definitely was looking for the finish. But yeah, a win's a win. I needed to get it. So yeah, I was happy with my performance. Obviously there's some things that I could have worked on and things I could have done better, but we ended up getting the job done, and at the end of the day, that's what we needed to do.
And we know what Antonina Shevchenko is going to want to do in this fight. Keep it standing, try and strike. Is there anything I'm missing here? It just looks like a, typical, wrestler, taking on a striker type thing. Yo, what's up, Jakar? How you doing? Yeah, it seems like one of those, kind of standard matchups. Like, are you looking at it any differently?
To be honest, I wouldn't put it past her to try to take me down either. I really wouldn't. Her sister's really big on game planning, and I'm sure they went back and looked at film and they know, to really seal the deal. I think that, she probably will be shooting for takedowns. I think in her, maybe it was 2 fights ago, she ended up ground and pounding someone. Yeah. So, she has it in her. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be surprised if she takes it to the ground, or at least tries to.
Talked to Jakar maybe a week or two ago. I know camp's been going well at the lab. Who have you mainly been working with for this one?
I've really been working a lot with Mario Batista, and obviously Casey Kenny. He'll be in my corner. He's a true southpaw, so he hasn't been able to actually do live rounds and things with me because he's still coming back from an injury with his hand. But just being able to get that look and a real true southpaw stance out of him, and then Mario with his size, and I mean he's very versatile. So I've been able to get a lot of good looks with him. And then we have some other guys in the gym that I've been able to get work with, but Mario's definitely been the biggest help out of everyone.
And correct me if I'm wrong, this is the second fight back with the lab, right? Because the first camp you had back was the last fight. I was trying to remember.
Correct. Yep, yeah, that's correct.
So you must be feeling in a good groove now, being back there, variety of training partners too, and not having to travel around as much. I remember that was one thing before where it was kind of a pain to try and, go different places. Now you got everything at the lab, right?
Yeah, I have everything in the lab. I still do training over with my strength and conditioning coach, and I still get some work in over at Golden Era and stuff like that. Obviously, she has a Muay Thai background, so we kept, made sure we kept going over there and getting all that training in and stuff. I definitely think that's something that I'll continue to do regardless of who my opponent is. Have really good guys over there, and just to get that strict Muay Thai look and things like that, it is always good as well.
And weight cut, I know always goes well, way better than 115, right?
Yeah, way better than 115. Jakar came just at the right amount of time for me to feed him. He's ready for his lunch.
Yeah.
But yeah, 125 has been good for sure. I wish it was a weight cut like Dre's though. But yeah, other than that, yeah, 125 is definitely a lot easier than 115.
So you mentioned Casey Kenny will be in your corner. Who else is going to be in the cage with you that night?
I'll have my same guy. So I'll have Casey Kenny, I'll have Jakar, and then I'll have David Machad as well.
The Bulldog. Love the Bulldog. Always got to give him a shout out. I know the coaching thing's been going well for him too, because I know obviously he's had some health stuff. How much of a positive influence is it having him around?
Huge positive influence having him around. He's actually making the move back to his hometown. So I had to talk to his wife and get him to be able to stay a little bit longer. So he's actually over there right now unpacking all of his stuff back home, and he'll drive back, and then he'll stay with me and Jakar for our fights, and then he'll be back home.
What a guy. How are the dogs coming with him too? I guess they have to, right? So
they have to, yeah. He will not leave his dogs behind. But yeah, they're definitely going with him.
How do you envision this fight playing out on April 30th?
With my hand raised. At the end of the day, that's the goal. Not trying to go in there and get first round finishes or anything like that. I'm just trying to go in there and get the job done and get my hand raised at the end of the night.
Time-wise this year, what are you looking at scheduling-wise? Because I know you got so much going on, not just with your fight career, but you got your car as well. Like, how do you navigate through that? I was curious.
Slowly. Very slowly. With Jakar, you just got to take everything day by day. You never know what to expect with him, so he definitely always keeps me on my toes. He's trying to get as many fights as he can. He says he's going to get 3 in. Hopefully we get 2 in for him. I'm looking to hopefully get 1 more, but we'll see how things go. I'm good for a break as well. My mom's been hounding me for a grandbaby, so we'll see how that goes. But other than that, I think really with this time, with both me and Dre being in camp at the same time, one of us is going to have to take a step back so we can spend some more, because we're so hands-on with King, and both of us being in camp, we've kind of, not that we've neglected him in any way, but we're just not as hands-on as we'd like to be with him and going places and doing things. So most likely I'll be the one that takes the step back, just because I have been the most active. And just so we can make sure we're not, putting our career before him, because in how we raise him is we definitely want him to be first no matter what. And luckily we do have a career where we can do that. Just unfortunately this time it was a little bit of a mess, but we went through it. We got through it. We only have a couple more weeks, and so far we're going good. So I don't see a problem with it. But yeah, I'll probably be the one taking the break.
Yeah, I was going to say, because this is the first time you guys have had this happen where you guys are both in camp at the same time. Like usually, because Jakar's been injured, right? So it's been a little bit, easier for you, I'm sure.
Yeah, a little bit easier. But yeah, we managed it. At first we were like, oh man, we're not getting through this. And then next thing you know, everything panned out and everything worked out good. I only have 1 training session where I'm by myself, where I actually get to, it's just me. Everything else, we're always mixed together. And that was merely just because of King. We wanted to make sure that, it wasn't just one parent or the other parent, that we were both spending time with him equally time. And then Dre has his time with him and I have my time with him, but we just wanted to make sure everything was fair for him as well.
And no more soccer, I heard. He kind of got bored of it, right? Which I'm sure, deep down probably hurts you a little bit, right? Because I know you were a soccer player.
It doesn't hurt me. It wasn't that he was the kid that was really good at the beginning and then progressed. He was like, I'm over it. I've already scored my goals. I've done what I needed to do. I'm over this. But he does want to play again. He just says he wants to play for a different team.
Gotcha. Okay. So the dream's still alive then, I guess.
The dream's still alive. Yeah. He's definitely
good.
Interested in soccer. He just, at that point, he was over it. I think he just got bored with it. And it was just, I think, too easy for him. He likes a challenge. I think it was just too easy for him.
That makes sense. Okay, I wanted to clarify this because last interview, I feel like I didn't ask the question properly, but your contract. So what's the deal with that? Is it a couple more fights? Because I remember last time we kind of had to figure out what it was. Do you know what your contract status is right now?
I have one. I have this fight.
Yeah.
Now, and I have 1 more fight.
That makes sense because you always renegotiate after on the last fight, right? Which always makes sense because that's when you're deciding what's going to happen, right? So
yes, correct. So hopefully after this fight, I can renegotiate again. The plan is after this fight, we can renegotiate again and get another fight and get a longer contract, and give me some time to, take some time off and prepare, for the next fight at hand. But you never know. I'll sit down and talk with Mick and figure some things out, and we'll go from there. But definitely get this win under my belt, and then, get a new contract for sure.
Well, and the stakes are high. I mean, it's cool, right? You've got this, notable opponent, right? Because of her sister and all that. And then you've got, second last fight. So does that add a bit more? There's so much stuff going on leading into the fight that the reward would be pretty cool. Let's say you go out there and finish her and you can renegotiate. It's going to look good on your end, right?
For sure. I mean, going in there and getting the job done is always good, but the situation I'm in where, I'm only 1 fight away from being a 50-50 fighter again. So I got to go out and I got to do the job. And get a new contract at the end of the day, get a little bit of job security, and then move on from there. I definitely feel like I can hang with anyone in the division. I don't think, I'm getting smashed on or finished by anyone really. I only have that one finish in my 14 fights in the UFC. So, I think in standing I'm okay, but I also get, where it's a business side as well. So, I just got to keep those wins coming and stay relative and, not be out too long, and yeah, just get these big fights and get these big names and get finishes.
My last question, we had a sort of a big name come down to your weight class. Miesha Tate looks like she's going to be fighting Lauren Murphy. What do you make of Miesha making this move now in her career? Because she used to fight at 35. Now she's entering in your weight class.
I think it's good. Do what you got to do to, to get the job done. I think she was always kind of a smaller 135er, you know what I mean? But yeah, we'll see how she makes that weight cut. I feel like I don't feel like it should be a big problem for her to make the weight. And I think she'll fare well in the division. I think her getting Lauren Murphy is a good test for her right off the rip. I mean, considering, she was a title fight contender a few times. Did she ever win it?
Oh yeah, she won that. She beat Holly Holm, remember?
Oh yeah. See? So yeah, I feel like, with Murphy coming off her last fight and stuff like that, I feel like it's a good opponent, a good matchup for her, and a good test. I feel like stylistically, I mean, they're pretty much right there with everything, the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu and the striking category. So yeah, I mean, I feel like it would be a good test for her, and we'll kind of see where she's at in the division.
This is always a good interview, Cortney. Thank you so much for the time. Just remind people where they can get a hold of you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout outs, I'll give you the last word.
You can find me on Instagram at Cast Iron Casey. Huge shout out to 8Man Strong. I do have a cause shirt. You can check it out on 8man.com and get your shirts. $5 goes to the Shriners Children's Hospital, which is a great charity. So if you guys can support that, that'd be great. Zebra mats, X Endurance, obviously the MMA Lab, and Combat Corner for always making sure that I'm taken care of as far as my gear and everything like that. But yeah, other than that, that's it.